ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
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 नारायणं नमस्कृत्य
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
दैवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
देवीं सरस्वतीं वासिं
ततो जयमुदीरयेत्।
ततो जयमुदीरये।
नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु
नष्टायेषु
प्रायेषु भद्रेषु
नित्यं भागवतसेवया
नित्यं भागवतसेवया
भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके
भगवते उत्तमश्लोके
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी।
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठ
कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय
कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय
देवकीनन्दनाय च
देवकी नन्दना
नन्दनाय च
नन्दगोपकुमाराय
नन्दगोपकुमार
नन्दगोपकुमाराय
गोविन्दाय नमो नमः।
गोविन्दाय
गोविन्दाय
नमो
नमो
नमः।
नमः।
Hare Krishna, everyone. So today we are starting the chapter 5 of third canto, titled Vidura's Talk with Maitreya. After Vidura had spoken with Uddhava, uh, he Uddhava recommended him to meet uh, Maitreya, who was also present when Krishna has spoken to Uddhava. Maitreya is of older age, and it will be appropriate is for Vidura, who is also much older to Uddhava, to actually directly hear from Maitreya on what Krishna has spoken to him. That is the reason. So he suggested him to meet Maitreya Muni, and Vidura goes and meets Maitreya Muni. So, and when he meets, he would inquire, he would ask several questions and express his primary interest in hearing Krishna's pastimes, Krishna Katha. And in this way, so this is just setting the scene. This is the beginning. This conversation will go through the entire canto from here on for many chapters and also the next canto. So that is the context. So Vidura as soon as he meets, he asks several questions. So we'll go through a few questions. 1 to 9 is about questions by Vidura to Maitreya. द्वारेऽर्जुनाद्या ऋषभाकुरूणाम्
दयेन वीरशुभाकुराणं
मैत्रेयमासीनमगाधबोधम्
मैत्रेयम्
आसेनमगाधबोधम्
असीनमगाधबोधं
ततोपसृत्योच्युतभावसिद्ध्या
कश्चित्तोपश्रुत्याच्युतभावसिद्धा
कश्चिदुपश्रुतभावसिद्धः
पाप्रच्छ सौशील्यगुणाभिर्हृत्वा
पाप्रच्छ सौशील्यगुणाभिवृद्धा
प्रपञ्चशैल्यगुणाभिरुद्धः.
So Vidura, please read the translation.
Sukadeva Goswami said, Vidura, the best amongst the Kuru dynasty, who was perfect in devotional service to the Lord, thus reached the source of the celestial Ganges river, Haridwar, where Maitreya, the great fathomless, learned sage of the world, was seated. Vidura, who was perfect in gentleness and satisfied in transcendence, inquired from him.
So here the two great personalities were described about their qualities were Vidra was coming from Kuru dynasty, the brother of Dhritarashtra and Pandu Maharaj. He is mentioned as the best of Kuru dynasty, even though he is born of maid servant. But because of his devotion service, he is considered the best among the Kuru dynasty. So he reached celestial Ganges river near Haridwar. That's where he meets Maitreya Muni, the great fathomless learned sage of the world. So Maitreya is a very learned scholar. He's considered one of the greatest rishis. So he meets him there. Yeah. So Vidura is a perfect devotee. Maitreya is a very learned sage. Now, when such great people meet, the conversation will be very fruitful. So Vidura is not going to ask any questions about material welfare. So all he is going to ask is about transcendental welfare of the living entities. So he wanted so some of the questions here initially appear like, oh, why Vidura is asking such questions, but it's not for himself. It is asking for on behalf of all the people of this world. We'll see those questions. Yeah.
Vidra was already perfect due to his unalloyed devotion to the infallible Lord. The Lord and the living entities are all qualitatively the same by nature, but the Lord is quantitatively much greater than any individual living entity. He is ever infallible, whereas the living entities are prone to fall under the illusory energy. Vidura had already surpassed the fallible nature of the living entity in the conditional life due to the being Achyuta Bhava or legitimately absorbed in the devotional service of the Lord. This stage of life is called Achyuta Bhava Siddha.
Yeah. So Vidura is already a perfect person. He is already a pure devotee. But even those who are perfect also, who has fully self-realized, even they also were inquire about the great qualities of the Lord. They are never satisfied because uh, Lord is so sweet. Even the greatest self-realized soul is also always inquisitive to know about Lord. So Vidura had already surpassed the fallible nature of the living entity in conditional life due to his being Achyuta Bhava. He's always absorbed in the devotion service of the Lord. Yeah. Vidura Uvacha
Vidura Uvacha
Sukhaya Karmani Karoti Loko
Sukhaya Karmani Karoti Loko
Natai Sukham Vanyad Uparamam Va
Natai Sukham Vanyad Uparmam Va
Vindeta Bhuyastata Eva Dukkham
Vindeta Bhuyastata Eva Dukkam
Yadatra Yuktam Bhagavan Vadenna.
Yadatra Yuktam Bhagavan Vadenaha.
Vidura said, "Oh great, everyone is in this world engaged in fruitive activities to attain happiness, but one finds neither satiation nor the mitigation of distress. On the contrary, one is only aggravated by such activities. Please, therefore, give us direction on how one should live for real happiness."
So Vidura's question was, so everyone works in this world in performing various activities. Fruitive activities means activities that give fruits, material fruits, which like it could be money or it could be name, fame, whatever. There are fruits of any activity. So people are more interested in the fruits when they perform activities. They're not dutiful generally, or they don't do it out of devotion to the Supreme Lord. They're interested in the fruits. When they perform such activities, when Jiva performs fruitive activities, they'll never be satisfied, nor their real problems of life, like birth, death, old age, and disease, they will never be mitigated. Right? Even though fruitive activities do not give any satisfaction, they are always cause of lot of distress, still the Jiva continues to perform those activities only. So Vidura placed this inquiry: how one should live for real happiness? How should one act in this world to lead a very happy life? It's a very good question, right? So everybody performs in the interest of getting some good, positive, or fruitive results, but there is no satisfaction. So how should a jiva should perform in this world or live in this world so that they can really achieve real happiness? Please read, Prabhu.
Vidura asks Maitreya some common questions, which was not originally his intention. Uddhava asked Vidura to approach Maitreya Muni and inquire into all truth concerning the Lord, his name, fame, qualities, form, pastimes, interviews, etc. And thus, when Vidya approached Maitreya, he should have asked only about the Lord. But out of the natural humility, he did not immediately ask about the Lord, but inquired into the subject which would be of great importance to the common man. A common man cannot understand the Lord. He must first know the real position of his life under the influence of the illusionary energy.
Mm. So this appears like a very common question that anybody asks. Why would somebody who is self-realized like Vidura would ask such a question? Vidura is asking on out of compassion for the living entities, common man, because common man doesn't know even what to ask. He cannot understand Lord. He doesn't know where to find right solution to his problem. So he is asking on behalf of such living entities, common man, uh, who are actually distressful in this material existence. Hmm. So now he will tell why the living entity in this middle world are miserable. Janasya Krishna Vimukasya Daivad
Janas Krishna
कृष्णात् विमुखस्य दैवात्
Adharmasilasya Sudhukshitasya
अधर्मशैलस्य
Krishna
सुदुःखितस्य
Anugrahayeha Charanti Nunam
अनुगृह्य
Krishna
चरन्ति नूनम्
Bhutani Bhavyani Janardhanasya.
भूतानि भव्यानि
जनार्दनस्य
जनार्दनस्य
Hmm. So the real reason for misery in this world is Janasya Krishnad Bhimukasya Daivad. Janasya means jivas in this world. Krishna means Lord Krishna. Vimukasya, turned their face against or away from the Lord. Daivad. So they have turned opposite to the Vimukasya, means they turned away from the Supreme Lord. So when they do that, what happens? Their activities become adharma silasya. All their activities are for self gratification, sense gratification. Because you don't know higher truth. Yeah. So this leads to uh, this leads to miserable life for them. And sudikshitaya, one who is always unhappy, anugraha, due to being compassionate towards them. So the devotees who are very compassionate to them, anugrahayeha charanti nunam, means they go around in this world trying to turn the faces of those who are turned against the Lord, like Srila Prabhupada, right? Who has, there was no requirement for him at his old age to actually go to the Western world to preach to the people who do not know anything about Krishna, the culture, nothing. They don't know, they don't value anybody, Prabhupada or anyone. They don't know value of life. They're just drug addicts, for example. To be compassionate to them requires so much of love for Krishna. So that's what Srila Prabhupada did out of great compassion for the fallen souls of this material existence. There is no need. They are already liberated. They could be just doing bhajan. Prabhupada could have continued his bhajan in Vrindavan, writing books. That is great service. He could have done that. If many of us could have done that actually. If we are, we understand the purpose of life. We had the opportunity to go to Vrindavan and chant the holy name. We could do that. We do that. But Prabhupada wasn't satisfied with that. Out of great compassion and for the people of this world, he risked his own life, had two heart attacks, and he went out of the country with no money to live in somebody's home. Like imagine the hardships he had taken. So that is the compassion of, now you know what is the compassion of Prabhupada. It's not ordinary. You won't realize what that is easily. Please read.
O my Lord, great philanthropic souls traveled on the earth on behalf of the Supreme Personality of Godhead to show compassion to the fallen souls who are averse to the sense of subordination to the Lord.
Yeah. So out of great compassion, they go.
To be obedient to the
Obedient.
wishes of the
Hmm.
obedient to the wishes of the Supreme Lord is the natural position of every living entity, but due to only to past misdeeds, a living being becomes averse to the sense of subordination to the Lord and suffers all the miseries of material existence. No one has anything to do but render devotional service to the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Therefore, any activity other than transcendental loving service to the Lord is more or less rebellious action against the Supreme Will. All fruitive activity, empirical philosophy, and mysticism are more or less against the sense of subordination to the Lord. And any living entity engaged in such rebellious activity is more or less condemned by the law of material nature, which work under the subordination of the Lord. Great unalloyed devotees of the Lord are compassionate towards the fallen, and therefore they travel all over the world with the mission of bringing souls back to Godhead, back to home. Such pure devotees of the Lord carry the messenger of Godhead in order to deliver the fallen souls, and therefore the common man who is bewildered by the influence of the external energy of the Lord should avail himself of their association.
Hmm. So very powerful purport. That's why marked everything here. To be obedient to the wishes of the Lord is the natural position of living entity. All jivera swarupahai krishnera nityadas. So the jiva, by its nature, core nature, it is always subservient to the Supreme Lord. But he has performed his selfish activities, and therefore, because of which he is now uh, given up his sense of subordination out of ignorance, and struggling has taken his birth in the material existence and is suffering invariably in various ways in material existence. and great compassionate souls, the pure devotees of the Lord, they wander all over the world to reclaim these suffering living entities in the middle world and provide them a path to back to Godhead. So some devotees like Srila Prabhupada or Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, whose appearance is today. So they, out of great compassion, they have sacrificed their own life, personal happiness for the service of the Supreme Lord, to help the like rebellious souls of the middle world to go back to Godhead. Yeah. So such pure devotees of the Lord carry the message of the Lord in order to deliver the fallen souls, and therefore the common man who is bewildered by the influence of acknowledgement of the Lord should avail himself of their association. So one should take great benefit of the association of such great souls. So I'll stop here. 7:30 we'll all go to temple. There is celebration there. So it's a very important day. So we'll keep it very short, like 30 to less than 30 minutes today. Okay, so we'll meet in next week again. Thank you all very much.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you.